BBC World Service. I'm Mike Williams with the Y Factor.
So let's open this and see. I don't know.
AsmahanAlkarjosli is opening a parcel from her son. Originally from Syria, she now lives in London. She's 58 and works as a TV producer, but her passion is dolls.
Please, please, please be a doll. Please, please.
Today, what's the appeal of the doll? They may have been with us for as long as we've been human, these little representations of ourselves. They certainly existed in ancient Egypt and Rome, and they're found across the planet, from rag dolls to baby dolls, from the fertility dolls of Ghana, given to women to somehow help them conceive, and the worry dolls of Guatemala, colourful stick figures kept under the pillow for children to whisper their problems to. Despite all the entertainments we have on offer, dolls endure.
Very good one. Thank you. Thank you. Wow, wow, wow. I'm very happy.
This room is quite remarkable. I don't know how many dolls you have here.
They are more than 1,000.
More than 1,000 dolls.
Yeah.
Some of them in a glass cabinet, others climbing the walls and filling the shelves.
Yeah.
Some of them look very old and very ornate in white, almost bridal costume. Think of the Barbies in their bikinis and the fashion dolls.
Yeah. They are a very big part of my life.
58 and still collecting dolls, still love dolls.
Not still collecting, still playing with them, making them, talk to them.
What do you say when you talk to them?
I tell them all my secrets, and I tell them my pain sometimes. They are good listeners.
At the Victoria and Albert Museum of Childhood in London, curator Esther Lutman is looking through the store of dolls.
Let's have a look at her. So you see what she's got. She's jointed at the knees and the hips. She's wooden carved, then hand painted. Rose tinted cheeks, bright red lips, and then this amazing headpiece as well.
This is the museum's oldest doll, the Old Pretender, made in around 1645. She's a delicate and highly breakable thing from an era when dolls were to be looked at, not played with.
We know that she has a royal connection, so she's obviously upper class child. There wouldn't have been a huge amount of families that would have been able to afford such thing. But saying that, at the other end, at fairs, at market stalls, there would have been figurines and figures that lots of children could have afforded.
Me and my sister Ruby like pretending they're real and carrying them like they're real babies.
Violet is 7, Ruby is 9, and they're playing at their home in North London. Their friend Max will be along later.
When we're adults and we have children, it will help us train for when we're looking after them.
Do you think you'll always have a doll, or do you think you might grow out of them?
I'll have one until I have children, probably.
Jeff Trawick-Smith is a professor of early childhood education at Eastern Connecticut University in the US. He's been studying how preschool children play with different types of toys, including dolls.
A lot of the play that you see with dolls is related to the things that they've lived in their homes. You will see nurturing behaviors, but you also might see children scold their dolls for being naughty or engaging in other kinds of activities that they see the adults in their lives play out.
Max, you don't treat yours like a baby, do you?
Of course not. I'd rather he was fighting than acting like a baby.
Does he have a name?
I'd like to call him Furno.
Why?
I don't know. It's a cool name. And his weapon is made out of fire.
Dolls score very, very high, particularly in the areas of imagination, but also dolls elicit a lot of language and a lot of interaction among peers.
I did notice that your doll is much more heavily armed than the 3 baby dolls we have here.
Yeah. Because you can't find any nice helmets. There's only helmets like battle ones, and the only thing it can hold is weapons.
Dolls seem to appeal to both boys and girls, and although the play was maybe slightly different, the amount of play was quite similar for boys and girls.
The store here is divided by material, which follows the development of dolls. Down that end you've got our wooden dolls all together. Then you move across and you've got our wax. And over here we've got our ceramics and porcelain dolls. And then you can see we've got all the vinyl and plastic dolls. And most of these ones we're looking at here are what we call fashion dolls, and we're showing fashions of the day. But as we go on to look at things a little bit later, we have this baby doll here. And actually, interestingly, the first baby dolls weren't until the early 20th century. This one here is called My Dream Baby. He has sleeping eyes, so if you tilt him back and forth, like so, his eyes open and shut. They were very popular, and it's the idea of looking after a baby. And also, not just children, adults would have been collecting these all through history, just as much as they are today.
Bienvenue au monde fantastique en plastique.
In Switzerland, there's a contemporary artist and doll collector called Billy Boy. He's well known for his collection of perhaps the most famous doll of all, the Barbie doll, launched in 1959. He's lost count of how many he's got, certainly tens of thousands of the curvaceous, big-haired figures. And his fascination with America's plastic pop icon led him to be immortalized by America's most famous pop artist.
I met Andy Warhol when I was a child. You know, he probably barely noticed me, but as a teen, I became closer to Andy Warhol. And for many, 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 many years, he wanted to do a painting of me, and I found that I didn't appreciate that idea. So finally, in the early 1980s, we were at the 23rd Street Flea Market in Manhattan, and he was like whining why I didn't want to be painted by him. And out of annoyance, I said to him, well, if you really want to do my portrait, do a portrait of Barbie, because Barbie c'est moi, which is, you know, paraphrasing Flaubert and his Madame Bovary c'est moi. He took it literally. He took a Barbie that I had given him and turned it into a portrait and called it Portrait of Billy Boy. And then he passed away not too long after he made the painting, so it was actually, I believe, his last portrait ever.
After his parents died when Billy Boy was just 4, he was adopted by a rich Russian couple. They had plenty of money, but not much time for him.
I was given a Montessori tutor, and I was sent all over the world with him to discover the world. So on these trips, I would see dolls in shops and in antique stores and exhibitions, and I was totally enraptured by them. In my projections as a child, I envisioned perfectly happy, very stabilized family situations. I think dolls did that for me because I was able to project an ideal family, not one that, you know, tragically died when I was young, and not one that sent me from another part of the world to a completely foreign other part of the world. It's almost like a ritualistic symbol, because of course dolls are effigies of the human being. And I think they use them to kind of calm their inner turmoils.
There is very bad war in my country,
AsmahanAlkarjosli, the doll collector from Syria.
and I am losing people who I love very much. They die because of this ugly war. I can't say everything I wanted to say to anybody. My feeling from inside when I am really upset, I'm angry, or I wanted to say something, I talk to them.
Are they therapeutic for you?
They are, yes. I feel very happy when I speak to them. I can't sleep without one of them next to me. I choose every day a different one.
Children do seem to relate in some ways to the doll and the ethnic group it represents. I share the story of a child who the teachers noticed that she was coloring in the doll's face. It was a Caucasian doll with a black marker to make it look more like her.
My name is Molemo Khomo. I'm in South Africa. I created a range of African dolls called Ntombentle dolls way back in 2005. And it was a result of me not being able to find an African doll for my daughter.
Ntombentle, the word means beautiful girl in Zulu, and there are 9 dolls in the range so far, dressed and made up like women from 9 different tribes: Ndebele, Sotho, Xhosa, Zulu, Tsonga, Pedi, Venda, and Swana.
That is what African kids needed. It's just something that looks like them, something that sort of represents them. I set up in meetings with various toy stores. I saw them, show them the product and all of that. And it sort of didn't go as well as I thought it would because they were not ready to have a black doll on the market.
What did the retailers say when you showed them these dolls?
Black dolls were not in demand. Black dolls will never sell. You know, it was supply and demand type of thing. That's what they said to me.
So who were the retailers you were talking to? Were they white, male, black,
Oh, yes.
female? Who?
No, they were white male. They were the buyers.
All of them were white male buyers.
And all of them told me the same story. It was almost like they sort of will say the same thing. So then I decided, well, I'm going to do it my way somehow.
So this doll here, probably about,
She is like my daughter. I
Sorry?
love her. She is my daughter. When I buy Barbie and her friends, I buy them for her. She can play with them anytime she like.
So Priscilla, this doll on the floor in what looks like a kind of white wedding dress or
Yeah.
something. And she's got blonde hair and it's tied up. But these dolls here, the Barbies, they belong to this doll there.
They belongs to her. They are her dolls.
Why do you keep saying she and her and not it?
I do. And even I taught my boys when they were little that when they talk about the dolls, they talk about them as she, not it.
Why?
Because I love them. They are my babies, like my sons. I always wanted a girl. I tried when I get pregnant for the first child. I thought I will have a girl because everything I do belongs to girls more than boys. Dolls, sewing things. So always I wanted the girl. First time I get pregnant, he came a boy. I thought, okay, I will try again. I tried again. I had another boy. I tried again. I had another boy. Oh, my goodness. So I don't have a girl. And always I tell them, look, these are your sisters. They laugh and they know how much Mom loves dolls. So they take it, okay, Mom, okay.
Are these a substitute for you? Are these substitute children for you?
Of course, they are.
I felt like I was observing people and their behavior around dolls and collecting them and what it brought out of them. And there were patterns amongst collectors. They very often lived through their dolls. I noticed that homosexual men were sort of projecting themselves in these dolls. And they were projecting not necessarily being a woman, but the idea of being fatale, femme fatale. My opinion was that these men collectors were identifying with the extreme feminine side of dolls. And for women, I found a similar thing, and that is that they seem to be interested in being another type of woman.
Molemo Khomo, the South African doll designer, has 2 daughters, aged 12 and 8. Can I speak to Seppo? Can you still hear me?
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
Tell me, what do you do with your dolls? How do you play with them? Do you talk to them?
Yes.
Do you think they talk to each other as well?
Yes.
And when you go to bed, what do you think they do?
I think that they look at me.
They watch you while you're sleeping.
Yes.
Do you think they're taking care of you?
Yes.
Which is your favourite one?
The city one.
Why is that?
Because I speak city.
If you were going to give the Sutu doll a name, what do you think it might be?
My name.
You're going to call it Seppo, huh?
Yes.
It's a very good idea, because you'll never forget that, will you? Malema, why do you think dolls are important? What purpose do they serve?
It teaches the kids to appreciate themselves, to love themselves, to understand who they are.
And also caring for the dolls?
They are well taken care of. They are either on the bed, they're on the pram, they're in the car, they're covered up in blankets. So they do look after them, really like taking care of a child.
Do you think there's a danger in that, conditioning girls to be mothers and carers from such a very young age?
I don't think it's so much conditioning them to be carers. I think it is more teaching them to love, to appreciate, to be able to take care of themselves as well.
I've got to say, this one scares me a little bit.
Yeah.
She's got a bit of a manic face and those dark eyes.
Yeah, yeah. I know some people, when they come to my house, they don't like to touch them, to see them, but I love them. You see how ugly she is?
She's terrifying.
Yeah, but I love her.